BEERUN, beer run. BEERUN, beer run. All we need is a 10 and a 5 or a car and a key and a sober driver. BEERUN, beer run.
Welcome to the Beer Run, part of the BSnBEER network, the only Saints podcast with a 2-drink minimum and takes as bad as working the chains at a Saints game.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep on your toes. Put toes at it.
Oof. Too soon? Too soon?
Ouch.
I am the California Cajun. I just beat Dale in fantasy football. This is Lil Dice. How you doing, Dale?
What's up, Craig? I appreciate that. You know, look, you got to win. Look, the sun will shine on a monkey's ass, you know, every so often, and you know.
No, you got to understand. I don't care about it, and you do. So when I beat you, it's extra special because then I can pretend to care for long enough to make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, there you go. It's working, Craig. It's working. Oh man. So you know how we do. On the beer run, we got 4 downs. We're going to talk about some beer. We're going to talk about some Saints news and the game versus the Lions. We will talk with some Panthers fans about the upcoming game, and we'll give you our keys to victory and some predictions. So, referees, get out there, spot the ball. Let's get this thing going.
First down, Saints.
All right, Craig, what you drinking, bruh?
All right. I am still on the very bad tail end of that wagon, but I have got myself a brew, all right. I have got a ginger brew. It's ginger beer, guys. It's
ginger,
still
right.
beer.
All right.
It's not root beer, it's ginger beer. So I'm drinking beer. It's got a bottle cap and everything. It's going to sound like beer, and for a couple seconds, I'm going to pretend it is. Yeah. This is actually a spicy ginger beer. And I've actually had one of these before, but I'll review it for you here. I'll tell you what the weird thing is. It doesn't taste spicy. It tastes like a delicious ginger beer that you throw some vodka in, have a nice little meal. But the back of your throat gets a burn, like you just swallow some spicy food. It's not your mouth, it's your throat. It's really unpleasant. It is a spectacularly terrible thing to drink. And I bought a couple of them. And I'm drinking one on this damn show because I have to have a beer, and it's a ginger beer, and I'm going to drink a beer on the beer run, damn it.
Hey, I feel you, Craig. But what kind of spice is it? Is it like the cinnamon spice, or is it like pepper flakes or something like that?
It's kind of that ginger, almost like a that horseradish dry kind of spice.
Okay.
You eat like a big old, like you're having sushi and you eat the whole like little wad of ginger off the side they give you.
Gotcha.
A little bit like that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well,
what are you drinking?
Today, I did not have a beer in the fridge, so we will be using vodka and Hawaiian Punch. Yay.
Hawaiian Punch. Hell yeah. That's exactly what I drank when I was 12.
Yeah.
Vodka and Hawaiian Punch.
It's great, man. It's great. Anybody got a 12-year-old, give them some vodka and Hawaiian Punch. I'm telling you.
Don't say that too loud. I got a 4-year-old on the other side of the door that would help her sleep a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. There you go.
Second down.
Let's talk some Saints news real quick.
Why?
Malcolm Roach suffered a knee injury and it looks like it's going to require surgery. So
no,
he's a lost cause. Looks like probably gonna be down for the rest of the year. So
that's a bummer. It's just having a quietly good season, then boom, squashed like a bug.
Yep.
Because it's a roach, Dale.
Roach.
It's a bug joke because he's a roach. Man, we all cope in different ways, man. We all cope in different ways. I got that gallows humor right now.
Yeah. I get it.
I mean, look, we're not going to have any good news after a game like that. No one's going to be like, oh, hey, our concussed quarterback with a broken rib, he might clear protocol again. Like, no news we're going to have right now is going to be good. Nothing.
Yeah.
The guys that we know are hurt are on IR. They can't come back this week. So as soon as you say news, everyone should just drive into a ditch. I'm assuming you listen to us while you're driving. I listen to podcasts when I drive.
Don't drive into a ditch, y'all. We need y'all download. So please.
Also,
please
this
don't
show
do
is
that.
a drinking game. Don't drive while you're listening to this show. Drinking game rules available on Twitter.
Yep. Okay. Derek Carr injured again. Looks like he's dealing with another concussion. Also, like rib and back, and shoulder. But they said his shoulder checked out. So he's got a lot of freaking injuries. This dude should really sit down a week at least.
Like, look, say whatever you want about him, being a dick in press conferences and not playing well. Tougher than shit. A tough player.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't missed a game yet with this now his third knocked out of a game injury.
Mm-hmm.
I expect he should miss this one, right? If you're in concussion protocol twice in 3 weeks,
yeah.
I mean, the league at some point's got to tell you to sit this guy down. I mean,
part of the protocol.
We're all about safety. Right? Yeah, we're all about safety, but we're going to let this guy roll back out there, get second impact syndrome, and die. Like, what are you doing, man? So I will be shocked if it's not the Jameis Winston show this week.
Yep, I agree. So that kind of brings me to this. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on, Twitter and Saints Report, any place Saints fan gather. Okay, they're calling for Jake Haener, and Tomas on the Beer Chaser called for Jake Haener.
Dumb. That's dumb. I love Tomas. He is my hero. He's got at least a small chance he's my biological father. I can't. That's a terrible take. It's so. If you start your rookie, you're thrown in the towel at that point.
Yeah.
You have a veteran backup for when your starter gets hurt. You're a game out of first place, and the playoffs are very much still an option. You roll out your rookie, you're thrown in the towel. You are this close to losing that locker room.
Yeah.
You got guys calling you out on Twitter during games while they're on IR. Like you don't have any goodwill right now. You're not going to be like, well, I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing, but also we're going to roll a rookie out there and see how that goes. None of that. It's not going to work. It's stupid. It doesn't help the team in any way. I don't, man, if you do that, you got to get rid of Kamara. You got to trade guys like Lattimore because you're telling all these guys that have been here for years and years and years, hey, this season's lost, man. We're throwing it in, better luck next year. A game out of the playoffs picture. Yeah. Well, we're going to punt here on essentially third down. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Unfortunately, I agree with you here. You can't send that kind of signal to the vets on his team, and there's a lot of vets on his team. So, you can't do that. Let's talk about this veterans sending out tweets. Mike Thomas tweeting about Derek Carr during the game. We've had a few different times where Mike Thomas has done this. Let's see what Dennis Allen had to say about that.
You have an injured player tweeting about your quarterback during the game. I ask this as respectfully as I can. Do you have a problem with that? At some point, do you think that player needs to be advised or whatever that that's not what should be happening?
We'll keep that in house, but I guess I was made aware of that last night. So
he deleted. What a jackass question to ask too. Well, are you okay with that? Shut up, dude. What the? There's a million ways to ask that question. And Dennis Allen answered the only way he could. It's like, okay. I'm going to deal with that and shut up. Like, nah. The whole thing in general is dumb, but I think Mike was in the wrong, and I'm a huge Michael Thomas fan. I think there's a chance that he sees that he's not going to be back on the field this year. And now it's like, okay, well, I screwed up vouching for this guy and I can be critical of whoever I want because why not? So I don't know what it means long term. I think it was dumb. I think, guys on IR have got a few pain pills, in their system. They got their feet up on the couch and you get a little bored when you're watching your team look like shit. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything to it. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's going to affect the locker room. I just think it's dumb and it pisses me off.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the game.
No, god damn. Can we start in the second quarter?
No. Well, I mean, sure. I mean, we'll just talk about the whole game. The Saints lost to the Lions 33-28. Let's start with your overall thoughts there of the game.
Infuriating. Because if we had just been blown out, we could be firing people. We could be running up the white flag. We could be talking about starting rookie quarterbacks. We could be doing all that shit. But we didn't. We looked like a substantially better team for 3/4 of that game. And that's why it makes me so mad, because we are better than most of these teams we keep losing to. It's looking that bad early in the game, and we look bad at the beginning of just about every game. It's coming out flat. That's coaching. That's preparation. Because once we get into the flow of the game, our players are better than a lot of teams' players. You know, even with all these injuries, like as once we got over the hump of, oh, we are unprepared for this football game. You know, those first 5 minutes were brutal. And then after those 5 minutes were up, Carr gets on a roll. We're running the ball decently. The defense tightens up. I couldn't imagine a more clear and concise picture of what coaching failure looks like with a good roster than that game.
Okay. The Saints went 4 of 4 in the red zone this last game.
But they were the worst red zone team in the league. I can't take anything from it. I can take one thing from it, and that is that you should throw the fucking ball to Jimmy Graham more than 3 times a season. He has 3 targets this year and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Like that's been puzzling this whole year, especially since we've been struggling in the red zone. But
if you get inside the 10-yard line and you don't have both Taysom Hill and Jimmy Graham on the field at all times, you should be fired, dragged into the street, and beaten.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the answers for the red zone was Jimmy Graham, Taysom Hill, and Jamal Williams. Like we got those 3 guys. Not we didn't get Taysom Hill last year, but we got these guys for the red zone, and that was supposed to solve all the red zone problems. And it looked like they just never initiated the plan at all. They had this idea in the offseason and never worked through it. So it's weird, man. Really weird.
It is weird. The Jamal Williams not being effective is more of a bummer than we've been talking about. Because I was really excited about having that short yardage back. You know, he had such a good season last year for those aforementioned piece of shit Lions. I can't. I'm bitter about the Lions because my wife's a Lions fan. So it's this week has been really, really stressful.
Oh, I didn't know.
Twisting the knife a little bit each time.
I didn't know. Hey, how did that happen?
They're from Detroit.
Okay. All right, there you go then. All right, Chris Olave was the bright spot on offense. He went 5 for 119. What did you think about his play?
He only had 5. They were just all deep balls. I know one of them was that tipped pass that he just kind of lucked into being in the right place at the right time. That was Jameis Winston trying to throw a pick and getting bailed out so that people on Twitter can tell me how good a quarterback Jameis Winston is. It's frustrating. Olave is good, man. He needs to be this guy week in and week out, you know, preferably more than 5 catches, but the guy that can stretch the field, especially with Shaheed out, he needs to be the one. He needs to be a number 1 wide receiver. That's what you drafted him to be. That's what everyone's been telling me he's going to be. He's got to be it now.
Okay. And the defense, we still have trouble covering the tight end. Porter went off 9 for 140 and a touchdown. I don't know what it is that we're not doing against tight ends, or we just don't have the personnel to cover tight.
I'll tell you what it is. We don't have a true slot corner.
Okay.
And both of our safeties are slow.
Okay.
And we were down one of them this week.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrann Mathieu is a ball hawk, and he's a stud, and he's in the right place at the right time all the time. But he's undersized, and he's lost a step. Mm-hmm. Marcus May, before he got hurt, lost a step. Now we got rookies trying to pick up the slack, and he's a 5th-round pick from Wisconsin. It's tough, man. Our safeties have been protected for the most part by elite corner play. And with Marshawn Lattimore out, that corner play is being exposed. It's making the safeties do more of the lifting. We've been beat up by tight ends all season, especially the last few weeks. The only tight end that didn't beat us up was Kyle Pitts because that guy sucks. But yeah, you don't have a slot corner. You don't. Your linebackers are downhill guys. Your safeties can't run with these big freaks. The age of the tight end, I think, is coming into its own lately. All these 6'6" guys that run like Jimmy Graham used to.
Yeah.
Jimmy was a freak of nature when he was doing it, and now it seems like everybody's got a couple of those guys.
Yeah. All right. So yesterday I was watching along while I was watching Monday Night Football. The play call sheet from STWF TV, they started talking about the Saints a little bit. And I will say, they were like brutally honest and just gave their take. Now it's two clips, just about a minute each. I want you to respond to some of the things that they're saying because
Can I curse?
No, sure. It's the beer run. So let's check these guys out.
So y'all remember maybe last year I was trying to tell them Mickey Loomis, he's the best. Well, guess what? Y'all got to look for it next year. Saints fans. As of right now, going into next year, y'all are approximately $89 million over the salary cap.
Oh, yeah, they kept kicking that. They've been kicking that can for
87.8.
years.
Yeah.
They've been kicking that can for years. How you at 87.8 with like no one outside of Olave and Rashid worth talking
That's
about?
worth that type of money.
That's crazy.
Derek Carr is your biggest cap hit.
Yeah, well, we all knew they were stuck on stupid for that.
Your right tackle is your second big. Your right tackle.
Not even the right tackle. It's the right tackle.
But it just puts stuff into perspective as far as I know we get frustrated. Yeah, I'm going to bring him up. A lot of people get mad at Jerry Jones and whatnot. But sometimes the best deal he makes is the ones he don't make. In the perspective of that, the one thing I do like about it is they draft very well and they pay their own. That part I like. And guess what? If they can't afford to pay you, we'll let you go to free agency. We'll get a comp pick for you. Yeah, that's a long way to do it. It's been 28 years and counting. But I'd rather go that way versus taking the risk. Now, if you got somebody who's a can't miss out there that's available on the free agent market, you got to make that run.
So Coach is a Cowboys fan, of course. And that was his criticism of our team building, salary cap management, that sort of thing.
If I wanted to get advice about how to win a championship, I'm not going to ask a fucking Cowboys fan. All right. Fucker was in diapers last time they won a championship. Fuck you. 89 million. That's way less than usual. We're fine. I'm not even worried about it. Well, it was like 115 or something last year. I don't give a shit about the salary.
It was pretty bad last year.
We got to rebuild anyway. We're gonna get a new coach. We're gonna draft in the top 10. Fuck it. You know how you rebuild your salary cap? By drafting really high and having young players you don't have to pay. We're gonna get a top 10 pick, and we're gonna do that this year. I'm not even fucking. If next person talks to me about the salary cap's getting a bottle upside the head, I swear to it. Oh man.
Okay. Well, hey, that's what the people on the outside are saying. I just, want to bring it in and have to discuss it a little bit. So there we go.
We don't even play the Cowboys, and you put a Cowboys fan on my damn podcast. I swear to God.
Third down for what?
Joining us today on Third Down, we've got Carolina Dad from Two Growls, One Roar, and we got Nick from Roll Coverage. What's up, y'all?
What's up? That's right.
That's right. Welcome back to the show. You guys.
I don't care how bad y'all's record is. I still hate you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Hey, everybody hates pond scum. It happens.
That's right. Our Carolina fans are back for another round. Welcome them in. That's right. So let's get to it, guys. You guys fired your head coach. And so, Nick, I saw that you did a breakdown of Chris Tabor's first press conference.
Yep.
What's your first thought to Tabor?
Tabor, I looked at his pedigree. I actually have a video coming out, hopefully tomorrow, of his full history, where he came from, just everything. And I'm really excited for the future. It's unfortunate we're only going to get him for 6 games. Well, at this point, 5 games, because I don't think he's going to be retained long term. If he is, he's just going to go back to special teams or something else. I expect him to absolutely go after filling that head coaching position, but I just don't think that there was no way that it was going to be immeasurably better by getting rid of a head coach. No team goes, hey, we were 1-10. Now we're going to win 8 or 6 straight. That's not a normal, thing, unless you're firing him the first or second week into the season. So overall, Chris Tabor, I like all of his press conferences. I like his demeanor. I like the happiness. If you haven't checked out the breakdowns, he actually has a bell that he likes to mess with people with. That's what we need. We need something. We need it to come together. Okay. He is the best option right now.
Like a Mississippi State cowbell kind of situation?
No, apparently it's like a hotel bell, and apparently it wasn't
bell.
Yeah. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. It was just there one day, so I just decided to start using it." It's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, look, you got to do something, change it up, I guess. So,
Dale, there's a whole other argument we're gonna have on second down, Dale. All right, you keep that change to yourself.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, Carolina, what's your thoughts on Tabor?
Yeah, it's similar to what Nick said. I mean, there's only so much you can say taking over a team like this, and he was retained last year when Matt Rule was fired. Steve Wilkes took over, so it's pretty uncommon that you see a coordinator stay around for the new coach. But he's a really good coach, really good special teams coach. And this year, I think Tepper decided he messed up. I think he knew he messed up not pulling in Wilkes at least for a year and seeing how that worked out. This was the move that whether Tabor does good and he wins, well, now he lost one, but if he won the next 5 games, or if he loses the next 5 games, it's not going to be, Panthers aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, I really want this guy. We love him. He's fun. That's all he talks about, fun, being relaxed. All his chips are in, which makes me wonder, is he going to try anything tricky? But it's short term, and I think it's just for me and Nick as we get into the off season, just shaking our heads at what is this organization doing right now.
Okay. Yeah. I actually have a whole tinfoil hat theory real quick to go back to what you said about, bringing Chris in and the happiness of everything. I think that Tepper did decide to cut bait early. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this later. So if I'm getting too early on this, but I honestly believe that first press conference, Carolina Dad's going to remember it, where Frank was like, oh yeah, I don't really like going into these meetings and stuff like that. That was week 4. I think that there was already something behind the scenes where Frank was like, this dude's annoying. I don't want to be here. And then eventually it just got to the point, after that, specifically after that moment, if you go back and look at his pressers, he's just kind of going up there and he's like just digesting it. And then he goes, well, this is what we're going to do for the team and everything like that. It's very bland at that point. So I think that the decision was made long before then. In Frank's mind, at least, he's like, I'm not going to survive. So whatever, let's just figure it out. And we're just going to kind of go from here. So Chris Tabor actually having a little bit more of a leeway and a little bit more of a runway for it is going to give him a great opportunity, like he said.
See, the timing to me was a little bit weird, because, Reich, it's usually the third Reich that has the biggest problem, and this is year 1. So, the first Reich isn't usually when they get all genocidal and stuff, but,
we just need to watch out if he decides to go, coach in the Bundesliga or something. There's no way. We got to stay away.
Man. So along the same lines, do you believe that the owner is too impatient? And do you believe he's like a micromanager? Because, I mean, with Reich saying the things that he said, the way he felt at that press conference, to me, it sounded like, you had one of those jobs where you got that micromanaging boss, you gotta submit all these different forms and all this kind of mess. And that's what he was going through. Is that what you saw Carolina there?
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus because he also, I don't know if y'all know, owns an MLS team here, Charlotte FC.
Okay.
He's fired 2 coaches there in the span in a very short time. Same thing. Like they just made the MLS playoffs and he fired the coach.
He fired 2 in 2 years.
Yes. So you've got that mixed with the football and that people are saying that they're like, why do you want to come here? Even this past week, I think it was Diana Rossini is reporting that there's communication happening around the league about coming to work in Carolina, you know, as a coach. And when you start like really getting into it, there's this theory that we want to have Ben Johnson, or he's one of the hot names out of Detroit, offensive coordinator. He interviewed here last year. Well, Deuce Staley, who was let go by the, you know, when Tabor took over, was at Detroit last year. And you know that he's going to be texting him up and saying, hey, man, this guy has, you know, runs all these kind of meetings and it's this much pressure. And he's coming in and telling us to run more RPOs. Like some of it may be, you know, stretched a little bit, but he's involved. And Nick, I know you probably have some thoughts too.
Guys.
Boy, dude, if we got an hour, I could drop a lot of F-bombs and say a lot about David Tepper. Okay.
Drop them.
As somebody that is getting their degree, I have nowhere near the aptitude or ability of David Tepper. The first thing they teach you in finance is if it's not working, don't keep holding it. So he's gonna just cut bait with as many people as quickly as possible. But the problem is like he said, he's way too involved. Like the rumor is now that oh God, what's his wife's name? She is blanking right now. Nicole Tepper really liked Bryce Young, and that's why we might have sided with Bryce. I absolutely believe in the core of my bones that in 4 to 5 years, when those NDAs are gone and when all the paychecks have been paid to all the coaches and everything, that there's going to be Reich, Josh McCown, Deuce Staley, and all of them going to come out and be like, we all said Stroud, and that asshole said Bryce Young. Not saying that Bryce Young isn't good and can't be good. Just now, if you're not going to give your head coach the ability to pick the quarterback, you're not going to even keep your head coach past 11 games. The guy who threw your first touchdown there's a lot that Frank Reich would bring home and start rebuilding Carolina. And the first thing you do is cut him out. That shows to Ben Johnson. That shows to everybody. This is not a place you want to go. That's why, to be honest, that report, Carolina Dad actually talked about it briefly on his Twitter, which is amazing. Follow him. Dude's got so much analytical stuff. Yeah. But we might actually end up getting subdued with Bill frickin' Belichick, which means Bill O'Brien will be our offensive play caller because he was Bryce's play caller in college.
The Saints weirdly have a really good record against Belichick. So, yeah, dude, bring it on.
Bring it on.
Let's get crazy with this.
That's all right.
Fun. Guys, you're missing the big point that your owner pointed out the other day. Way more concerts and stuff.
Venues.
There's all these different venues are coming. You know, it's a cool to have Taylor Swift, I think is the name he said. You know, it's
I thought it was Beyonce.
He couldn't even land Taylor Swift.
Beyonce. Yeah.
It was Beyonce. Yeah, he couldn't land Taylor Swift.
They're the same person.
Yeah, it's funny. So that he comes out and says that, ticks a lot of people off, which I always say, rightfully so. I went back to his very introductory press conference, same exact speech. He said, I'm going to bring music and bigger events to the city of Charlotte. I'm going to bring high school football. He didn't talk about soccer then, but he's like, that's what I'm here for. And then he repeats the same thing. There was a lot of people getting really in the weeds. We stay pretty close to a lot of our reporters, and there was a group that was basically shunned from being asked to ask Tepper a question in the press conference. They skipped right over him, wouldn't take the question. And last year when we fired Matt Rule, one of our reporters had gotten it, not really getting into it, but ticked David Tepper off a lot. And he was one of the guys that didn't get to ask a question this year. So it's some weird stuff. He's definitely controlling the narrative.
So he said he wanted to make high school football a priority, which is cool that he's trying it with the Panthers.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
But that press conference should have been a sign to so many people. In that one, you can see him literally take the question, get a shitty face, and then respond in a shitty way. Like he was absolutely taking stuff to heart. And the reason why that press conference lasted 13 and a half minutes is because he couldn't handle it. And I think honestly, he's got like a tell. And if there's got to be somebody out there that can figure it out specifically. But there's a point where he like really like rubs the top of his head right here. And then literally a question later, he's off the podium. So I think he was basically like telling his PR team, like, you gotta get me the hell out of here.
That's a sign.
And if he touches his ear,
because he had nothing positive to say. It was all that BS about bringing Beyonce to Charlotte. Like, no offense, who cares? We're here to win football games. Unless she's going to play left tackle.
I would sell my car to see Beyonce play left tackle for the Panthers against Snyder.
Oh, no. She would. Oh, that'd be bad.
Might work out. You know, we don't have too many sacks on the year, so it might work out. You know?
Yeah, but we haven't played any pop stars yet. Let's
just wait till you get icky. Oh.
Yeah, right. It's basically Taylor Swift at left guard.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let's talk about the game last week. The Panthers lost to the Bucs 21-18.
Fuckers.
But listen, positively, from what I saw in the stats, it looks like you guys found something good in Chuba Hubbard. He had 104 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and this was a draft pick a couple of years ago. What are you seeing from the running game, Nick?
Oh, I'm going to let him go first. Okay. Carolina Dad's got to take this.
All right.
Oh, you're good, man. No, we've been pounding the table to give Chuba the ball all season.
Would you say you keep pounding?
Keep pounding. That's right. Pounding the table, man. Great setup for me. Yeah. So it is a head scratcher how I don't know I think it partly is the scheme, but to see Miles Sanders go from what he was with the Eagles to here, I mean, it's terrible. I want him to be successful, but it just hasn't panned out. We paid him a lot of money, and I feel like the staff, because of that, says, oh, well, we got to get him his 10 or 11 touches.
Yeah.
Chuba goes off. That was our first 100-yard rushing game for a player this year. I think the Bucs, the second they said on the broadcast, I think that was the second 100-yard rusher this season against them. And he's running the ball so well. At the beginning, it was poor conditions. We get into the end of the game. It's 21-18. We have the ball. It's third and 2. We need 2 yards, and he's running the ball well. We throw the ball in back-to-back plays, and then that was the game. And I'm like, you don't give him the ball at least one time in that situation. And, yeah, they turn it over, and that's all she wrote, really. But, yeah, I would love to see him continue to get the ball, but I don't know. It's hard to know what's
running behind Beyonce and Taylor Swift on the left side.
That part may not work out.
Yeah, that's honestly been the problem, though. Like, I think it's the expectations were set so high. Like, we're a quarterback away. Yeah. But then so many people looked at that roster and were like, oh, Chark was good, I guess. LaVisca was, yeah, sure, he's Kmart, Debo Samuel. But we can't even protect Bryce Young to get 2 yards. How are we supposed to win football games? So I think that it was just a bad start in general for the team. The losing is going to continue, unfortunately. I really don't expect us to win more than another game. And if we win more than a game, I'll be very surprised. My prediction was that we would have 3 wins. So I'm getting real close.
Okay.
But I just think that, yeah, he's right. The running game finally picked up. We finally were able to get Chuba more than, what was it? Was it 23 carries that game?
25.
25. Okay. So yeah, that's something we need to do. But if that's the case, then we need to completely change everything. We can't feed Adam Thielen at that point. We can't be taking these massive shots downfield. We really need to commit to the run game. But we also can't do that because our offensive line is basically made up of us 4. And no offense, we can't block Von Miller with the 4 of us. So
maybe right now, because I think he's in jail.
Perfect. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. Him and Henry Ruggs, we can block them. We got this. But other than that, like we can't stop a nosebleed. Like it's so bad. I'm glad JC Horn is possibly back. You know, he was on a pitch count before. There's so many other options, but the person that torched us is the person I said we should have traded for. Mike Evans. Dude is ridiculous. Him and Bryce Young would be electric. Never going to happen in a division though.
Good. I need him to go out of the damn division. I'm tired of Mike Evans. God damn.
Dude, I told you my prediction
won't understand why.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you have Chris Olave and Mike Thomas right now, and then you guys.
Not right now.
Oh, is he out again?
Thomas is on IR.
Yeah. Oh man.
Shahid is hurt. Olave is concussed for the third time in 2 years, but healthy.
Oh my God! So you have the Panthers wide receiver core?
Well, except your starting quarterback is under center, and ours is in concussion protocol for the second time in 3 weeks. And you're probably getting James Winston this week.
We're probably going to pull our number one pick quarterback for your former quarterback Dalton to sneak a start point.
Dalton, please. Oh God, I would love that so much.
Starting Andy Dalton would be the dumbest decision ever. Like, just let Bryce out there.
The Panthers, so that's probably up next.
Please don't tell me that.
Oh man, yeah. So that was gonna be my next question. I saw J.C. Horn was back, but yeah, Mike Evans still went off for 162 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. The secondary, what's going on in the defensive backfield there, Carolina? That
it's a lot of injuries, but at the same time, it's the same things that we've really seen, at least with Mike Evans, since I've been here as a fan, torching us. So he did have one play. It was like that's what it was. So we went up, and so I went back and looked over the last 3 games at the time that we've been ahead in a game and the time that we've been trailing. We've been ahead 10 seconds over the last 3 games. We've had a lead for 10 seconds. And it was the 10 seconds that we had scored, and then they get the ball and they score on a 75-yard touchdown pass, and that was it. And I don't know. I mean, you do have a lot of turnover there. We did have J.C. Horn on the snap count, but you've also got players like Jeremy Chin who kind of fit as a nickel that's just not being utilized. Like, if Jeremy Chin had been healthy before the trade deadline, he was on IR, I think he would have been traded to the Eagles because his name was coming up.
Okay.
I feel like, you look at how many points they're giving up per game. It's not great. It's like 29th or 30th in the league. Yardage wise, we're trending in a decent direction. It doesn't, like, when you look at the two, you're like, oh, we're like top 10 in yards allowed per game, but then almost the worst team in the league when it comes to giving up points. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, with 5 games to go, Horn trying to get healthy, Dante Jackson's out there. He's okay. Hasn't been bad, but yeah, issues at safety, keeping Von Bell healthy, just part of the season. But yeah.
Do you think the discrepancy is a red zone defense problem, or is it like short fields because your offense sucks? Like, there has to be a reason that you have that kind of a gap, right?
The short fields are absolutely a thing, I think. I mean, I stopped tracking it, but earlier in the year, like tracking points off of turnovers or just field position, like giving them prime opportunities. Like going back to the Tennessee game when we give the Titans the ball, I mean, Bryce fumbles and they get the ball in like the 20, they're 20 going in or something. It's like, you can't stop teams like that. So you're going to give up a lot of points when you're giving them really good field position. And so, yeah, this is a bad year, man. First team eliminated from the playoffs. Like, good gosh. So I started my pod. I was like, FSU, Georgia, and Carolina Panthers eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, Nick, if the Panthers come out with the victory this weekend, what does that look like to you?
Boy, how you guys need to call a ambulance if that's the case, because there's a bunch of y'all that are getting carried off the field. I think you guys might end up having to play 9 or 10 guys on the field. Maybe play some coaches out there too. That's the only way the Panthers are getting this win. I think that you guys have a really, really stout defense, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to generate the pressures that we've really wanted. Brian Burns hasn't fortunately showed up in the sack department. He
got ejected last game too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He punched open face.
Yeah, his little smush. I just don't think that right now, with the issues we've had previously, ball security, ball safety in general, Bryce just dropping it and stuff like that, you guys are a harder play anyways because you're in division. So I just think that if we're going to beat you guys, he's going to have 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns and no picks. but that hasn't showed up in the NFL yet, so I don't believe in it yet.
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons that you might be more optimistic than you currently are. All right, so our run defense is terrible, like objectively terrible. Running quarterbacks, running back, doesn't matter. Running defense is bad, right? Banged up. Cam Jordan might not play. If he's going to play, he played 17 snaps last week. He's going to be at pitch count. Pete Werner was out last week. He might not play this week. Marshawn Lattimore is out this week. Defense is, they're opportunistic, all that kind of good stuff. They're banged up. Offensively, move the ball really well. Don't score in the red zone. There's a lot. We don't play as well at home. We've now played 3 division games. We have scored 2 touchdowns. Both of them were by a running back who is no longer on the team.
Which one?
We have not scored a division touchdown since we played y'all in week, 2? So didn't score a touchdown against the Bucs. Didn't score a touchdown against the Falcons a couple weeks ago. We scored 4 touchdowns against the Lions, who have the worst red zone defense in the NFL. Our quarterback's probably not going to play. We're going to have Jameis Winston, and everyone who tells me on Twitter that Jameis Winston is better than Derek Carr are going to be real fucking quiet after this one because he's not going to do well.
Hey, you want to? I got a stat for that actually from Panthers on Tap. Jameis Winston is 0-2 as Saints starter against the Panthers. Stats in those 2 games is 36 of 63 for 464, 1 touchdown and 4 picks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So Jameis is the one that I thought that if somebody needed a backup, I thought y'all should have traded him. But clearly, that was the right decision to keep him.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be. He came in relief 3 times already this year. Carr keeps coming back. He's fighting through these injuries, but he's now got 2 concussions, hurt his shoulder. He's got a rib injury now. So he's getting beat the hell out of, which speaks to our offensive line not being the premier unit in the NFL I was hoping it was going to be. So as much as you guys are gloom and doom about being 1-10 and don't have a head coach and everything, we are way more pissed off over here because we thought we were going to be something. We thought this was going to be a roster. I remember this first show we were on. I rewatched it before we got on here, and I'm all excited. I'm all pumping my chest how we're going to win 10 games. We're going to be the shit. We're going to win maybe 7 at this rate. I'm going to the game in a couple of weeks, and I don't know if I want to. It's getting rough, man. It's getting rough. And I'm straight up. Y'all 1-10, and I don't expect to win this week.
Wow.
That's tough for you. Do you think we need to start having the conversation that Derek Carr is getting towards the twilight of his career?
I think we had the conversation that our coaching staff is not good enough to put him in a position to win games. So they're asking him to do it for him.
He didn't have the coach for the Raiders. So what coach does he need?
I am not sure that the coaching with the Raiders is any worse than what we have now. Pete Carmichael has been Sean Payton's coattail rider his entire career and is completely incompetent.
They're saying your head coach is pretty much done.
Sean Payton getting you a career. So now you're over here like, oh, well, we'll just make Jameis Winston and Derek Carr work. I don't need Sean Payton. And that Rodriguez guy, he was a bum. Who cares about that? We're going to be fine. Pete Carmichael is the scourge of my existence, and I'm way too sober for this conversation.
If you become a Panthers fan, we call that guy Scott Fitterer.
Yes.
There you go.
I did see a GoFundMe for Derek Carr's contract.
Yep.
That's right. Try to fund that buyout.
Oh, man. And then there was
Derek Carr last week started the game 1 for 5 with an interception. And the interception was a pass he threw that hit our tight end, Juwan Johnson, in both hands.
Oh, my God.
Dropped it, kicked it over, picked off. First play of the game for us. After the first quarter, he completed his next 15 passes in a row. So he got it together, and then he got concussed. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back. The whole season on offense, it's been disgusting.
When it was like 21-0, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, and then y'all came back. I didn't get to see it, the finish of it, but
they made it like a competitive game at least. So I
couldn't just tune out and not get stressed out about it. They had to make it stressful. Blowout.
That's right.
Thank you, man. Do it, I'm gonna go play with my kids or something like that. But no, they got to drag me back in and make me care some more.
That's what they do, man. That's what they do. Heartbreakers, I'm telling you.
The worst.
All right, let's go with predictions. Carolina Dale, let's start with you. What did you see happening this weekend?
Yeah, Panthers are averaging 15.9 points per game, creeping up from 15.7 ahead of last week. Hard for me. I've said we are everyone's get-right game. There's been some up and downs where I've picked us a few times. I'm not picking the Panthers. I just did my preview. I haven't posted it, but I've got Saints 28, Panthers 20.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
4 touchdowns. Gimme.
Yeah. We give them away over here.
I want them. Yes, please.
All right, Nick, what you got?
That's a tough one, especially with everything that you brought up about injuries and everything like that. I'm still going to give it the Saints are going to win. I don't think it's going to be that high of a score. I think in total there might be a total of 40 total points scored.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I'm probably going to lean somewhere like 24-16. And one of those would probably be like a pick 6 or something from Jameis Winston or something like that. But I don't think our offense really can do it. If you guys half your defense is out, I'll take it. Let Chuba run all over y'all. I'll take the W. Run away with it. But if that doesn't happen and we lose, yeah, like I said, if we get one more win this year, I'll be happy.
There you go. All right. Carolina Dad, tell us about your channel and where people can find you.
Yeah, so 2 growls, 1 roar, got a single hoodie, but you can follow on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever, and YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast.
All right, gotcha. All right, Nick, what about you?
Yep, I'm Roll Coverage on YouTube, Roll Coverage Pod on Twitter and X. Haven't diversified myself to TikTok or anything yet. That's coming here soon, so just go follow me on there. I appreciate y'all.
All right, you guys give these guys a follow. We do appreciate you guys coming in again. And, look, hopefully we can find another Bucs fan and a Falcons fan, and we can get together and do an NFC South podcast together. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I intentionally did not come on the show the week that we were playing the Panthers because I have no intention of talking with Panthers fans. It's not part of what I want to do.
Oh, Twitter's so bad right now. Twitter's,
It is.
They're talking about Bryce Young won't throw for 3,000 yards the rest of the season.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
If he gets up to 2,900 yards, I'm going to be real mad.
Hot stuff on the Twitters, y'all.
You might get 3,000 this weekend. Let's all on the break. It's fine.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us again. And we will reach out again when we can talk. So yeah.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. See y'all.
Thank you guys.
All right.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
All right, Craig, 4th down. Let's talk about the game. Now, what do you see happening? What's your thoughts about how this game is going to unfold?
First and foremost, those two don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're the worst. I hate those guys. I say this every week. They're fine. I meant what I said. I don't feel good about this at all. Yeah. I think there's a very good chance we split these two with the Giants and the Panthers, which we're objectively better than both of, because we don't stop the run. They're both going to run downhill on us. We don't play well at home. We're no longer playing the worst red zone defense in the NFL, and we might not have a quarterback for one or both of these games. So, no, I don't feel good about it at all. Like, I'm going to pick us to win because I'm a Saints fan, and if I ever stop picking us to win, I want someone to punch me in the face. But until that time, I don't feel good about it at all. If we win, it's going to be an ugly, dragged out kind of thing. It's going to be like week 2 again, but with lower expectations.
Just looking at the Panthers, they are 30th in total scoring. So
offensive scoring?
Yes.
Yeah.
So to me,
well, it's because they suck mostly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So to me, hey, one of the keys of the game is going to have to be putting up points, especially early.
What? We should score points to win a football game?
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
You're being crazy, Dale. Come on. This is luminary shit right here. You got to write this down.
This is great analysis here, Craig. Okay.
I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you, mate. Can you get on the phone? Can we get like Dennis Allen and those guys? Like, I think they need to know about your breaking news plan that they should try to score touchdowns. My God, Dale, brilliant stuff.
Let's try something different this week, Craig. More touchdowns.
Because scoring touchdowns is different.
Try something different this week, Craig.
I hate you.
But yeah, man, we got to get them out of running the ball, and the way to do that is score early.
Is scoring early, but we don't score early.
Yes,
we let people score 2 or 3 times, and then we start scoring. We're polite like that.
Yeah,
we hold the door.
So we cannot start slow. because I'm afraid if we do start slow, we're gonna see Chuba Hubbard running for over 100 yards again, like he did last week. And we already suffer against the run, so that's the best way to play defense.
To beat the Saints defense up, you have to have two of these three things. You have to have a receiving threat at tight end, or a mobile quarterback, or a good running game. Mm-hmm. If you have any two of those three, then you're going to score points on the Saints.
Yes.
And I don't know what their tight end situation is, but I think Bryce Young can run, and I think that they can have a good running game. So I think those are two of the three things that means they can score points on us. I don't know if they will because, again, they suck, but so do we. We just don't suck as bad. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Look, I can't look down at anybody else because at any given time
we have 4 more wins than them. Of course, we can look down on them. They suck. They're terrible. They're 1-10. This is what's been making me so fucking batty with the Saints crowd right now. We're acting as if we are the worst team in the league. We
at any given time we can be. At any given time we can be.
I get that our expectations were higher, but they expected to be better. How much in the offseason we talk about how Carolina was going to be relevant because they got this number 1 overall pick and they rebuilding their cap and they added these pieces and they are a dumpster fire. So this whole thing like, oh, we're almost a 500 team and we're in the playoff conversation, but all these fans are like, fire the coach, fire the quarterback, burn the place down, boycott, don't go to games, don't buy merch. And it's like, fuck you, spoiled bitches. For God's sake. Were none of you Saints fans with the Aaron Brooks days or before that when we were objectively garbage for decades?
Well, you got a lot of young Saints fans now. So
all these people who started watching when Breeze was throwing for 5,000 yards a game. What did you think that was normal? Did you think that the Breeze era with Sean Payton was it was always going to be like that? Grow up.
That's what young fans
are. Peter Pan. This is the real world. Sometimes your team isn't elite, and we're not even a really bad team. We're just kind of a mid team. Like, fuck off, all of you guys. Jesus, I hate. This is what they do. They're tearing us apart from the inside. Great empires cannot fall from outside. They have to crumble from within, and we are crumbling from within from a bunch of people who are like, oh, well. The worst free agent signing of all time is Derek Carr. Shut the fuck up. The worst free agent signing of all time, not Jarris Bird or Brandon Browner, guys who actively ruined Drew Brees' prime. Those guys it's recency bias and it's stupid. It's ignorance. God, I'm mad at us.
Yeah, it is a lot of recency bias.
It's so dumb.
So both of the teams both have 19 sacks on the season. So this tells me we should be able to protect our quarterback. Don't get your quarterback hurt this game. Protect the freaking quarterback.
At least we're in a unique position where even with our starting quarterback hurt, we have a starting quarterback to play in his place, and we have a young backup, and also we have Taysom Hill, who's won games as a quarterback. So it's like we do have more quarterback depth than anyone else in the NFL. Doesn't mean I want to use it, but it's a weird thing. It's nice to have, I guess.
Respond to this comment. We got this on the Beer Chaser. If you use 3 quarterbacks, you can't win football games.
So have they seen Florida State this year, or they've seen Bama most years? No, the phrase that I think they're trying to go with is if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. Mm-hmm. And that's a way of saying if you have an open quarterback competition and you don't know which one to go with, it's because neither of them is good enough to win the job. So I think that's a reference to that old saying. But no, that's not how it works. We have 3 quarterbacks because we have a starter, we have a backup, and we have a tight end who plays quarterback. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we don't have 3 quarterbacks. We have a quarterback. And we have a backup for that quarterback because you'd have to have a backup. I don't get I don't think I get the comment. If you have 3 quarterbacks, then you suck. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Every team carries 3 quarterbacks, whether one of them's on the practice squad and one's a backup. What the hell are you talking about?
They're saying if you actually playing them in the game, you're not going to win the game. If you're playing 3 quarterbacks.
Because it means 2 of your quarterbacks got hurt if you have a third one. What? Yeah. Correct. You know what, commenter? You are absolutely right. If you have to play a 3rd string quarterback because your first 2 got hurt, you're probably not winning.
Okay. There we go. So my last key for the game, the deep ball should be available. Mike Evans had a 75-yard receiving touchdown last week. He went off 163 yards total. I need to see somebody go off. So,
I mean, you're asking to have chemistry with a quarterback that's only been, hasn't started a game in, 2 years.
Amos is a deep ball god.
Yeah, I guess, but he's only going to have one of his deep threats. I don't think we're getting Shaheed back. So, okay. I mean, yeah, man. So you want to score points, don't get your quarterback hurt, and throw deep balls. Come on, man. I feel like all three of those could be accomplished on one play.
Go.
You just drop back, you have some protection, you hit a guy deep that scores a touchdown. You got 3 check marks on one play, and then we can just pop our beers and kick back the rest of the time, right?
Simple game plan. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to warn you about here, Craig. You brought up the tight end. The Panthers have a tight end from LSU. Steven Sullivan. No, Steven Sullivan. He used to be a wide receiver. Transition.
Yeah, he sucks.
Tight end, and he's on the team. So if Sullivan goes off, no, not really. He's just a contributor. He's probably like
he's not the kind of guy
on the depth chart.
He's not Sam Laporta or that guy in Minnesota that kicked our ass. Hawkinson. Yeah.
But if he goes off like those guys, we got serious problems.
if he does, he's gonna make me actively hate LSU a little bit because you're gonna be insufferable.
Hey, I gotta point out the LSU.
If he goes off, it means he's beating Tyrann Mathieu. So is it gonna cancel out your LSU love?
Oh,
yeah. Didn't think about
LSU
that. Did you?
On LSU crime. I don't like that.
Yeah, not good.
All right, give me predictions, man.
I don't pick the Saints to lose. I'm not in the business of doing that. It bums me out. But I don't feel good. 18-16 Saints. Like, it's going to be ugly. I don't think that we're going to score points with Jameis. I don't think we're going to be able to run the ball very well. And I don't know if we're going to stop the run very well, but they're not good either. 18-16 Saints. It's going to suck.
Okay. I am going to say 27-17 Saints.
You think we score 27 points?
Yes, 27 points. Jameis going to look deep for Olave a few times. Going to connect on a couple. Yeah.
I thought I was the optimist on this show. What is this, opposite day? What's going on here?
We're playing the Panthers. That's all it comes down to.
Panthers and Giants in a row. Like, you got to win them both. It
be nice.
Are we? If we win both of them, we're probably within range of the division title, and we're not in the top 10 of picks. But if you lose one of them or both of them, then you're looking at a great draft pick. So really, is the whole season in these 2 games? You win these 2 games, and you keep pushing, and you try to win the division. If you lose these 2 games, you throw in the towel. Is that where we're at?
Yes.
That would be 5-9, and you'd basically be sunk no matter what. But if you win them both, you're 7-7, and you're right there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So congratulations, guys. We have a 2-week season coming up.
Yeah. And I think it's going to make these last 2 divisional games really important. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here, man. But we got to win these 2 games to stay alive. So,
man, I hope we do.
And then we could be having our favorite discussion, Craig.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah.
We're still a game back as it is. Like, it's still right there. It's still hanging over us. We can't escape it. Destiny comes for us all.
Yep. That's it. All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here on the Beer Run.
Man, what a depressing hour this has been. I know you have a choice of how to bum yourself. And shocked and surprised you keep choosing us. For the entire BSnBEER network, for Dave's Loud Ass Truck, for B-Train, for the Godfather Tomas, for Luke, and for Lil Dice, I am the California Cajun. Have a beer. It's on us.
Who that?
Remember to follow us on social media at BSnBEER Media. Also, smash the like button on YouTube and share with friends.